What happens when a Hollywood star walks into what should be a fun late-night interview, only to have the host reveal a devastating secret that changes everything? This wasn't just another celebrity chat. This was an ambush that would end with one of the most dramatic walk-offs in television history. The atmosphere in the Tonight Show studio was electric as Miles Teller bounded onto the stage, flashing his trademark grin to thunderous applause. Jimmy Fallon stood up from his desk, arms open for a hug as the two friends embraced like old companions. "Miles, welcome back, man," Jimmy gushed, holding up a framed photo from their recent Knicks game. "Look at this, ice in your veins." Miles laughed warmly. "Thanks for having me back, Jimmy. Always a pleasure." The interview started like any other. They joked about Miles hosting SNL, shared stories about military family members, and discussed his new movie, Eternity. But then Jimmy's smile turned predatory, his eyes narrowing as he leaned forward. "You know, Miles," Jimmy began, his voice taking on an unfamiliar edge, "while we're talking about eternity and choices, I have to ask about some choices you made back in 2022. Miles' smile faltered. "I'm not sure what you mean, Jimmy." "Oh, I think you do," Jimmy said, pulling out a folder. "See, our producers did some digging after your last appearance. We found something interesting about that independent film you said you turned down for Top Gun Maverick." The studio fell silent as Miles's face went pale. "Jimmy, I think we should—" "Should what?" Jimmy interrupted sharply. "Should ignore that you actually signed on for that film? That you took a $500,000 advance? That you only backed out when Tom Cruise made it clear you'd be blacklisted from major studios if you did the indie instead?" Miles stood up abruptly. "That's not what happened, and you know it." "Isn't it?" Jimmy's voice rose triumphantly. "Because I have the contracts right here. I have emails from your agent begging the producers to understand that bigger forces were at play." The audience gasped as Jimmy waved the documents. Miles' hands clenched at his sides, his famous cool demeanor completely gone. "You set this whole thing up," Miles said, his voice shaking with anger. "The friendly banter, the basketball photo, talking about my family, all just to soften me up for this ambush." "I'm just doing my job, Miles," Jimmy retorted smugly. "The public deserves to know the real you, not just the charming actor you pretend to be." "That's rich coming from you," Miles shot back, moving closer to the desk. "The man who plays everyone's best friend on camera, but will stab them in the back for ratings." Security began moving toward the stage as Jimmy stood up, face to face with his guest. "You don't get to talk to me like that on my show." "Or what?" Miles challenged, his voice dropping dangerously. "Or you'll release more private documents? You'll attack my wife next? My parents?" The real explosion came when Jimmy revealed his final card. "Speaking of family, maybe we should talk about why your uncle really got that silver star in Vietnam. The story might not be as heroic as you—" "Enough," Miles roared, tearing off his microphone. "You have no right to bring my family into this, no right to drag my uncle's memory through the mud for your pathetic ratings grab." As Miles stormed toward the exit, Jimmy shouted after him, "Running away again, Miles? Just like you ran from that indie film when Tom Cruise snapped his fingers?" Miles froze at the edge of the stage, then turned back with a look of pure contempt. "You set this whole thing up, Jimmy. I'm choosing to walk away from this toxic environment you've created. I'm choosing to keep my integrity instead of playing your disgusting games." He looked directly into the main camera, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "And to everyone watching, this isn't entertainment. This is what happens when someone betrays your trust for clicks and views." The studio sat in stunned silence as Miles Teller disappeared backstage, leaving behind a humiliated host and an audience that had witnessed something truly shocking. But the real twist came the next day when Tom Cruise himself released a statement supporting Miles and condemning Jimmy Fallon's unprofessional and unethical conduct. The fallout would continue for weeks, with several scheduled guests canceling their Tonight Show appearances in protest. So where do you stand in this explosive confrontation? Was Jimmy Fallon doing his job as a journalist, uncovering the truth, or did he cross a line that can't be uncrossed? Was Miles Teller right to defend his privacy and walk away, or should he have answered the tough questions? We want to hear your take on this dramatic television moment. Share your thoughts in the comments about where we should draw the line between journalism and personal attacks. And if you want to see more unfiltered moments from your favorite celebrities, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what we uncover next.